Hey guys, welcome back to another SweatyBrock video. So on a few videos ago, I got a comment from a buddy, and I kind of wanted to check out a game Control. By his request, he wanted to see what I felt about it. And basically in this video, I'm going to talk about my feelings about it, my concerns, a little bit of why I didn't enjoy it as much as I'd hoped. But for the price point, I definitely suggest you go out, buy it, and give it a whirl yourself. So I will be jumping into the reasons why I enjoyed the game, what I think it did good, and kind of a few things that they could change really quickly and probably fix the overall playability of the game. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you do enjoy the content, drop a like on it. If you have any questions or any games you'd like to see in the future, make sure you drop that down in the comments below. And as always, subscribe so you don't miss any content from me, the sweatiest of sweat boys, SweatyBrock.
I'ma make a couple stacks, do exactly what I want to. Mix a couple tracks, get a lady that I'm drawn to. Turn up to the max, get faded till I'm gone, dude. I do what I want, couldn't stop me if you wanted to. I just work hard, yeah, harder than the rest. Some people say
So you get thrown into the Federal Bureau of Control as a character named Jesse Faden. Now, I had a really great time with the way they introduce you into this game. You just kind of go in and you have to figure things out, which I think is super fun for a lot of games. And it really challenges you as the player of the game to figure out kind of what's going on, piece things together yourself, and really just an overall fun experience. Now, my concerns right off the bat with this game were that it's extremely hard to run. The workload it put on my computer was insane, and it really caused me not to be able to stream this game, which was a big negative for me because I am trying to be more productive in my content and get out there and stream more and interact with my fans a little more. So I was bummed out by that. I know at this point I don't have a lot of fans, but it's never gonna grow if I can't get out there and promote myself on Twitch and Instagram and stuff like that. So it was kind of a bummer that my frames were at like 3 on my stream. So it made it extremely hard to stream it while playing it. So that was my first negative. If you aren't experiencing that, maybe let me know down in the comments below if you are a content creator and you were able to stream it fine. I'm not entirely sure, but for me, my personal experience, super fucking hard to stream. So that's kind of a negative on that. I spent a lot of the opening sequences trying to figure out why my stream was running like shit. So maybe I wasn't paying the most attention where I should have been, but again, the overall goal is to become a content creator full time, and streaming is a part of that for me. So I couldn't really sacrifice that while this game had just launched on Steam. It was important for me to get out there and promote it on my stream. So that was a bit of a negative. But as far as the visuals, a beautiful game, really quite an interesting concept. You're thrown into the Federal Bureau of Control, and the overall theme is you're looking for your brother, but you're also the newly appointed head or director of the Federal Bureau of Control. So what's going on currently as you get thrown into this game is that like this other dimension or entity is starting to take over the building. At this point in the game to date, I haven't finished it, so anything I may say may have changed by the end of the game or towards the middle of the game. I had such a hard time streaming it, and some other issues I'll talk about in the previous. I just haven't finished it yet, so I may or may not finish it. I'm not entirely sure. If I do figure out how to get the game to run better and be able to stream it, I probably will finish it, but that's to come, and we'll see how that goes. But you're dropped in, and you are the newly appointed director of the Federal Bureau of Control, and it's really interesting because at first you're like, I'm just looking for my brother, and as you go through the levels, you start out by meeting the maintenance guy. He's a really well acted character. I mean, he's mysterious and a little bit hard to understand what he's talking about sometimes, but he is overall just a interesting guy, and you want to learn more, but he's the first person you interact with, and he kind of gets you into the Federal Bureau of Control. So you start moving throughout the layers, and you have the ability to use telekinesis, which is super cool. That concept, really great. I love the idea of being able to use the materials around you and the gravel to block things as they're being shot at you, or throw projectiles at the enemies. Super fun, very interesting concept, and I had a great time with it. Maneuvering and keeping an eye out where the fire extinguishers were, or the flammable items that you could throw later. Super fun, and really just made the experience overall a little more satisfying to get those like explosive kills where you could throw a extinguisher at them and you see the white foam blow up. It was really quite an interesting idea, and I really enjoyed myself on that. They call it the hiss. The hiss is being spawned in, and you could see the red beam of light, so you know that they got spawned. So it's not really like you're walking through and you're getting surprised like in Resident Evil or something like that. You could see that they clearly spawn in. Some of my concerns with the game are with the combat. I think that they had a decent idea where the enemies leave an essence behind, where that's your main source of health. So you're in combat, you kill one, and they drop their essence, and you have to go collect it to gain health, which is a cool concept. But with the mechanic of being able to throw items, it really is hard to have that close quarter combat element. If they would have implemented some combos you could do, maybe like a 1-2 punch or like a kick, punch, kick or something, it would make it more enjoyable for that close quarter combat, which you absolutely need in order to get health. So a lot of the game, you're kind of stuck at a distance trying to throw items at them, because if you're too close or compact, a lot of the items you try to throw will hit the wall next to you or the pillar, or it will clip the bench in front of you, which makes it an overall a little difficult to use that ability close quarter. And on top of that, you only get a certain amount of throws, so an item not hitting when it should can really cause issues. As you move through the game, the combat level of the enemies gets more intense, as do most games. So you're constantly at this bypass where you're fighting these characters that regain health a little bit faster than you may be able to, because you can't get to their essence that they leave behind. And the hiss is overall just kind of ganging up on you. Without the ability to throw things close quarter or do any combos, you're kind of just like stuck hiding behind stuff at points, and it becomes quite difficult to engage the enemy at a distance because you only have this pistol. I understand it's a story game, and that's where I'm a little confused, because they have RNG and you have like this hip fire ability with the gun, but it's random and the RNG really doesn't hit very often, and it's like, this is not a tactical shooter. To have RNG or a randomized hit registration, it seemed weird, because there'd be times where I felt like I'm not by any means the extraordinary gamer. I'm pretty average at that at best. So I know that I missed a lot of shots, but at the same time, to make it to where you can't aim in on the weapon, you could just kind of hip fire aim like some shooters and still make that RNG related, it just kind of takes away from the fun, because you could be aimed in at somebody and shooting them clearly, and the hit reg is like, nah, you're missing by these percentages. This is, again, a story-based game. It's not necessary. There should be enjoyment to the game. It shouldn't be about frustration. Some games market frustration and difficulty, Dark Souls being one and stuff like that, but the gamer knows what they're getting into when they buy the game. I know that I'm going to lose my fucking mind trying to get to the next point in the game. But with this game, I was kind of just expecting a really fun, interesting concept to play while challenging me mentally. So the hit reg with the pistol and the inability to throw things close quarter majority of the time really made the combat super difficult and inefficient. I believe if they would just switch the health to regenerative over time, as well as being able to pick up those little essence points from the enemy or from the hiss, it would really just greatly increase the enjoyment of the game. Because if you're stuck in a corner, or you're waiting for your telekinetic ability to regenerate, or you picked up a barrel and you went to throw it at an enemy and you blew yourself up, those kind of things are unfortunate, but you would be able to hide in a corner and wait for your health to regenerate even a little bit, just so you can engage the enemy again. But a lot of times you're kind of stuck in this corner and you get pushed by an enemy up above that you didn't quite see, and because you're unable to take any cover, you're kind of just screwed. There is an ability to pick up rocks or items and use them as shields with your kinetic ability, which is super awesome, but you don't unlock that immediately. So you spend a decent chunk of the game without abilities like that, or the dodge ability. So imagine that you drop into a game, you go to check your controls, you're going through, you see everything, you see evade, you see block, you see all these things, and you're like, I can't do any of that. You're smashing those buttons while you're in the middle of a battle, nothing's happening, and it's a little confusing. A simple tutorial at the beginning of the game would tell me how to do it. Even if you're loading into the game, it's like, progress through the levels and finish the achievements in order to unlock new things. Simple thing would have told me what to do, but maybe again it's because I was trying to figure out my stream and figure out why it was lagging so much that I didn't get that, and it really just caused an overall frustrating experience at the beginning of the game. So I tried mapping those buttons and stuff like that, but I come to find out I just didn't have access to those things yet. Even if in the controls you put a lock on it until later, at least I would know, oh, that's locked for now, maybe I'll unlock it later. But just to have it openly changeable and accessible to your key bindings, but you can't do it, just a little confusing to me at first. So overall, if they just switched the health to where it was a little more distance compatible, since it is a little difficult to do close quarter combat in some of those areas, it would really just make the game so much more fun. Again, I enjoyed the game. For $39.99, I would recommend the game. I would check it out for sure. The value to playability is super cool. It's just a few things that really increased the frustration for me, and because I can't stream it, I don't think I'd work through those issues, because it's just unpractical, since I need to be streaming more often in order to get some of the perks of being an affiliate or a partner with Twitch. So another thing that was pretty interesting is as you're running through the levels, the hiss will spawn, and I've found that I would run through this courtyard of the research facility, and it would kind of just like, they would spawn, and every time I went through that area, they would just keep spawning the same 6 hiss characters. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen, but it became very hard to just explore the area, because I would constantly be getting shot at by this guy with the giant grenade launcher, or one of the minions with a rocket launcher that could just follow me fucking everywhere. It was really frustrating. So I would have to plan where I was going to go, or just jump down and sprint as fast as I could around the map without being able to explore anything, see anything, or go anywhere. And it kind of sets the illusion that you're supposed to go there. If you're running through a map and there's nothing being spawned, and you go up this flight of stairs and 6 enemies get spawned there every time, you think, oh, I'm supposed to go here. But from what I could see, it was just a bathroom or a small corridor, and I didn't end up going anywhere. So I just would continuously be fighting these same 6 characters when I would run by there, and eventually would just try to evade them without ever combating them, because it just took so much health, time, and it just really isn't worth it if you continuously have them. I would go up the stairs, fight those 6 people, and if I took damage because I couldn't get to the essence that they left behind to get more health, I would retreat back, and then another 6 would come. And it just became this, like, being surrounded type thing constantly, and it was quite frustrating. Again, they did a lot of things really good with this game. Like, they kind of drop you in without much knowledge of what you're doing there. And as you explore these avenues, you're finding these artifacts and these videos on these old TV sets that are painting a picture that the Federal Bureau of Control may be a little scary, creepy. They're marketing a lot towards kids, and you're really concerned. It's creating this immense amount of tension. And in reality, you don't know what you're doing there, but they really did a great job of just sprinkling this tension through the entire map, and you're excited to see what's next. So I really like how they did that. Another thing that was really quite frustrating for me was the spawn points. Now, when you claim an area that the alternate or anti-dimension has taken over when they take over an area, you have the ability to claim that area. Now, as far as I could tell, claiming that area is really one of the only save times that the game auto-saves. Which, in most games, when you pass through a corridor or you find a new part of the map, it'll kind of auto-save there. I've noticed that in this game, when you explore a new area, if you get overtaken by a bunch of Professor Xaviers and in their chairs up in the sky, and you get killed because you blew yourself up with another barrel, you kind of get spawned back like 4 stories or like 5 staircases away, and you run back through your entire map just to get back to where you were. And that's fine if they restart the level for you and you have to go back through and fight all 10 characters again. But let's say that you have 10 enemies and you kill 5. You kill 2 Xaviers and there's only 1 left. When you get done running through that staircase where those 6 enemies try to kill you every fucking time, you get all the way back and you still only have to kill 5 or the remaining 2 or 3 that you had died at previously. Which you may be thinking, Brock, why are you complaining? You only have to deal with 2. Well, to me, that tells me that they can, in fact, save at those points, because they save the amount of enemies that you have remaining. But they don't save your position, or they don't start you back at the door when you first walked in and it said in big giant letters, "Welcome to Central Research," or whatever. So it just kind of leaves you like, why is it necessary for me to run back through 5 flights of stairs, past those 6 enemies, almost kill myself because I jumped off the balcony for the 4th time, instead of hitting the railing on the elevator shaft that I should have hit. It's just a constant death and running simulator, which, again, it's just a small fix. I think it's 505 games. It's a small fix. I hope they release a patch that causes the autosave to be a little more efficient, so that way I don't have to keep killing myself and reminding myself that I'm in fact a terrible gamer and I shouldn't be creating a YouTube channel based on games. So it's a little frustrating. Again, this is a story-based game. They shouldn't focus so much on the actual fightability of the game, because while I may be an average gamer, there are gamers that are lower than me or worse at games than I am, and they may actually never play this game because it's too frustrating, and it doesn't market itself as a hard game to play. It markets itself as an interesting, introspective, like, different view on a telekinetic protagonist. Shouldn't be so hard, I think, is what I'm getting at. So you are constantly unlocking stuff as you go, but you're not really aware of that as you're going through the game. They did a really good job with the immersion by not cluttering up your screen with a bunch of UIs. But with stuff like that, it does become a little difficult to notice when you do stuff because you are working through the game and you're not really focusing on these little tiny things popping up on the screen that you have found something or that you're able to unlock new mods and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. I would say definitely check this game out. It was fun. I had a great time. Short of those little things, I would say, so that you don't lose your mind like I did, keep your distance while fighting. Try your best to unlock all of your abilities at the beginning of the game because as you work through the levels, without the ability to evade or block certain RPGs that are hound dogs that can chase you around an entire room, you'll get frustrated very quickly. So definitely try to unlock all those things. It'll give you a lot less of a headache of trying to figure out how to attack a room where you're being surrounded above, below, and new hiss members are being spawned behind you. It'll help a lot. So overall, really fun game. For the price, you can't beat it. Definitely would recommend it. And just these small tweaks that I think they'll eventually do will really make it a way more enjoyable game, and I'll probably pick it back up then. But for now, I'm about, I think, halfway through the game, or a little over halfway through the game. I'd probably say I'm probably closer to 3/4 of the way through the game, and I had a great time, but right now I need to focus on streaming, so I probably won't pick it up until they make it a little more efficient to stream, or if I get an upgrade on my RAM or something. I feel like 16 gigabytes of RAM should be efficient enough to run the game and my stream. I'm also working on getting a streaming PC, which would ultimately allow me to play this game without any hiccups. So in the future, I may pick this game back up, but for right now, I'll probably leave it at 3/4 of the way done. I did enjoy it. I do recommend it, and just the small tweaks and things that I found to be very frustrating. It overall was a very compelling, intense story where you're running through maps and you're trying to figure things out without being specifically told to do it, which makes it way more enjoyable when you do actually find out what's wrong and why, or what you need to do and why, versus just being fed it with a spoon. I think that some things combat related should be explained at the beginning of the game, because dying over and over again is no fun, and just being told two simple things, hey, you have to work up to unlock evade and blocking, I think would just make it so much more enjoyable. Again, I probably missed it because I was trying to fix my 2 frames on my stream, but again, just a simple walkthrough would have been cool at the beginning. So I did really like how you're going through these levels and you end up in this little hotel, and the only way to get back to or to finish what you're there for, you kind of have to mess with stuff, ring a bell, check a door, look for keys, set up a room exactly like the room next to it. It's super fun, and it really is an aha moment when you're able to figure it out and get that fucking key, go to the room with the pyramid on it, and get the fuck out of there. It's super fun. Really enjoyed it. There's so much more that this game has to offer, and I had a great time. I'm hoping that they fix the issues that I have with it, and then I can go back to enjoying it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know that I got a little ranty there, and I don't want to say that this game is bad, because I don't think it's bad. It's great visuals, interesting game. My problems with it have a lot to do with me being able to stream, which that's not a fair thing to say. Don't play this game because you can't stream it. Not everyone's looking to stream, so holding an opinion based strictly on that is just, it's not necessary. So I enjoyed it. I think that they have a lot to offer. It was a unique and interesting take on a game with telekinetics, and I hope I get to play it again. So thank you guys so much for stopping in again. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button. If you have any other games you'd like me to try out, throw that comment down below like my buddy, and that way I can check them out, give you my opinion on them, and give you guys great content. always remember, I fucking love you. Thank you guys so much.
I'ma make a couple stacks, do exactly what I want to. Mix a couple tracks, get a